RMJ Movie Reviews back again with another movie review. I'm kind of balancing between, I'm doing holiday movie reviews. So the last movie review I did was The Last Boy Scout, which I kind of consider that a little bit of a Christmas movie. It was written by Shane Black. He kind of has a Christmas theme throughout all his movies. There's a reference to Christmas in Last Boy Scout, and the film was actually released in December of 1991. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do movies that me and my family watch around Christmas time, and which you kind of see on TV, and I'm gonna mix in movies that actually have Christmas, that are actually Christmas movies. This film that I'm actually gonna review right now is a little movie that actually it's not a small film, it's a big budget film from 1995, produced by James Cameron, directed by Kathryn Bigelow, who actually directed the original Point Break from 1991, The Hurt Locker, some other movies. Film called Strange Days, starring Ray Fiennes from Schindler's List, Angela Bassett, What's Love Got to Do With It, and Julian Lewis from Way of the Gun, Natural Born Killers, and all kinds of movies. This film is a very underrated movie. I still remember this movie it was released in, I think it was fall of 1995. I remember I was in 8th grade when the movie came out, and the marketing for it was really, it wasn't even really pumped up that much. The only thing I remember is that I wasn't really that aware of Ray Fiennes. I remembered that he was in Schindler's List. I think it was the year before, or 2 years before. Of course, I knew Juliet Lewis from Natural Born Killers, and of course, Angela Bassett, because this was What's Love Got to Do With It, I think was 2 years earlier. Of course, Boys in the Hood, too. But this film wasn't really pumped up that much. It wasn't marketed that much. And the little marketing that they did have for the film when it came out, it was just really weird. Like, I remember there was a mall, that's been torn down. It doesn't exist anymore. It's the same mall, but not like it was back then. But they just had this poster of it actually wasn't even this picture. It was actually this little picture right here of Ray Fiennes' face. It was just like that picture of him blown up, and it said Strange Days, and it was like this weird green color, and that was it. And it was just like Strange Days, like what is that? And I remember when they advertised the movie, like it had really cool trailers. And it looked kind of sci-fi, kind of actiony, but it wasn't very clear what the movie was about. And Strange Days, it's like, what does that mean? And I could see, and obviously the movie was not a financial success, but I think it does have a cult audiences. I would be one of the people. I didn't see the film until it came on video. But I remember the little trailers that I did see for it. I mean, they showed a lot of Angela Bassett doing some ass kicking, a little bit of gunfire, and it just looked visually cool. And it really, it is. It's really a fantastic movie. It's a shame that not many people really know about this movie, because this is really more of a science fiction mystery thriller, a little bit action film. That would kind of be my description of it. And it does take place in the future. It takes place in 1999. It's going to change into 2000. In terms of like kind of the themes throughout the film, and a lot of the kind of fears that people had at the time in the mid-90s, because there was a whole big thing about, when it turns 2000, the computers and stuff were going to shut down and all that. And that kind of paranoia runs throughout this movie. And also it has a lot of kind of issues that was going on at that time in the 90s. There's little kind of a through line of police brutality, kind of things with record labels and rappers, what was very controversial at the time in the 90s. Police beating up minorities. There's a little tiny little through line of kind of hints of nods to the Rodney King beating throughout there, and then there's this murder mystery, and it's all kind of woven around the years about to turn 2000, and it's a really cool and unique movie. I just wish more people. I can't really describe the plot. Ray Fiennes is like he's an ex-cop, and he's like a black market dealer of this. We all know police, real life police. They have wires that they wear to record criminals doing criminal activity. Well, at this point in Strange Days, they developed a thing called, I think it's called a squib or something. In other words, what it does is you put it on people's heads and you can actually visually record their thoughts of what they're seeing. So like if I had a squib on right now and I'm recording this video, you'd be able to see from my point of view me recording this video. And basically, Ray Fiennes illegally sells this kind of hardware memory thing on the black market to people because he got kicked off the police force. And they come across, you know, a murder conspiracy, and they're trying to figure out how all of this connects to, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but other things that are going on throughout the plot. I'm just going to leave it like that. The squib ties into a murder mystery, and you have to follow Lenny and his best friend, Mace, played by Angela Bassett. Oh, and also Tom Sizemore, forgotten character actor, is also in this film too, and we have to figure out the conspiracy, and this all takes place in the future of 1999. Well, in 1995, 1999 was the future, going into 2000. It's just an awesome movie, and of course, you know, James Cameron, who not only is he a terrific action director, sci-fi director period, but he's also a fantastic screenwriter, and the way this movie is intricately plotted out, everything ties in together. For me, watching the film again, I do not see any plot holes, but I love the way the story is told. It's a fantastic story. The characters are very rich. The characters are very well written. I mean, Ray Fiennes, I've kind of been waiting to see him in a role like this again, but it's too bad he never he's kind of more been, you know, he's doing the James Bond thing, but he's been doing smaller roles, but he really is good in this movie. He's really fantastic. Very kind of got a little bit of that Harrison Ford, Han Solo-ish kind of slimy with a heart of gold kind of thing, kind of smarmy, but he's a good guy deep down inside. He's got a little bit of that going. Angela Bassett, she's just in this movie just playing the action hero. She's just kicking ass through the whole movie, pistol whipping dudes, punching dudes, kneeing them in the face, doing car chases. She's really bad. I really wish Angela Bassett would have did more action stuff like this. I wish there would have been a sequel to this movie. It was to never happen. Their chemistry is absolutely fantastic. I think it's even more fantastic that it's an interracial relationship and not in the traditional Jungle Fever sense of a black man and a white woman, but a white man and a black woman. And their friendship is genuine. You know, it's not a facade. It's a genuine friendship, and they genuinely love each other, not without like hopping all over each other and banging each other. I mean, it's genuine love. It's actually a very tender relationship in this movie between those two. And then you got Juliette Lewis, who she you know, Juliette Lewis can play this role in her sleep, you know, which is kind of the, you know, the lost girl who's rebellious, and you know, Lenny, played by Ray Fiennes, was once in love with her. So you've kind of, it's not an in-your-face love triangle, but it's kind of, Lenny is kind of, he's torn. He can't get over his first love, which is played by Juliette Lewis, but you know, they're kind of leaving it up in the air. Does he have feelings for Mace, played by Angela Bassett? And it's kind of bouncing back and forth, and then you got the murder mystery and the sci-fi background. Very, very well done movie. I just really wish more people would recognize this film. It's fantastic. So not only do you got good character, and also what I love too is the actors. They pay their characters with total respect. Angela Bassett plays this role. She doesn't play it like an action hero role. She plays it like she played Tina Turner. She plays it just with conviction and heart, you know, and everybody throughout this movie is fan. Michael Wincott is in this too, you know, the bad guy from The Crow, and, you know, one of the bad guys from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You know, he comes in with his raspy voice, and the only time a whore should open her mouth is when she's giving head. You know, that's one of his lines in the movie. I mean, he's fantastic. Glenn Plummer from Colors, who fought Sean Penn in The Kitchen, he's in it. I mean, this movie has Vincent D'Onofrio, Full Metal Jacket, William Fichtner, fantastic actors in this thing. This movie is great from top. The one guy, I can't remember his name. He was been in a lot of Spike Lee movies. He played one of Danny Aiello's sons in The Pizza Shop and Do the Right Thing. He's in. I mean, just there's a slew of fantastic character actors in this thing. This movie's just great. The production designs, the sci-fi background, the lighting. It kind of has that really mid-90s kind of grunge thing going, so you kind of get a lot of the, like, you know, a lot of white people wearing the dreadlocks, and then you kind of got like you know, kind of, you see black folks that are kind of into that kind of grunge rock scene, you know, kind of lesbian women with shaved bald heads, and it's got all kinds of just really kooky, unique kind of characters in it. It's a fantastic piece. You know, and you can really tell James Cameron produced this and he wrote it, like I said. So, you know, I don't think this movie was cheap. You know, this is really an epic movie. This movie's 2 hours and 18 minutes. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I just got finished watching the DVD. And it's an epic film, and sadly, nobody really knows about this movie, and it was just a financial failure when it came out, which is just too bad. I think that just comes down to they just didn't know how to market the film. But fantastic murder mystery plot. It's not an action film, but it has sprinkles of kind of action throughout it. And the thing that I do like is when the action does come, it's very much cut like a 90s action picture. You know, the multiple cuts from like medium, tight, close up within the action, that kind of cutting style, that rapid cutting style, which was kind of, you know, taken from a lot of Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Van Damme films of the 80s and the early 90s. You know, some of that is here too. And then, of course, you know, you got this really unique techno kind of, not really rock and roll, but kind of grunge soundtrack too. And I think this film did have a soundtrack. But, you know, the soundtrack is unique too. Matter of fact, when the film ends and the credits roll, there's like some techno song, and I think it's in another language. I never actually caught that before, but I actually was listening to it, and I was like, this is kind of, I don't know what language they're rapping in, so somebody could leave it in the comment section below. But Strange Days is such it's a strange film. It's very unique, very different. I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you guys can, to my subscribers, please check out Strange Days. Give it a chance. Kind of in the first act of the film, the setup is a little bit long. You know, the setup is really about 40 minutes. But the thing is that the mystery, the murder mystery is so, you're really involved with it, you know, and you're going with Angela Bassett and Ray Fiennes, and you really want them to get this whole thing figured out. And I'm not going to give spoilers away. And watching the film again, it wasn't obvious to me when I first saw it. Who did what? I'll just leave it like that. But watching it now, there's a lot of clues that it's very obvious who did what, and I'll just leave it like that. But now, rewatching it again, I'm kind of like, oh, it's kind of like when I watched Scream for the second time. Like, when I watched Scream the second time, it's very obvious that Billy and Stu are the killers, you know. But same thing here. That's all I'm going to say. And also what I really do like, I'm just going to give a minor spoiler, is that, you know, Ray Fiennes' character is deeply, deeply in love with Julian Lewis. And what I love about the film is how it's just this sci-fi murder mystery, but it does have real characters that reflect how people's emotions are in real life, in reality. You know what I mean? So there's this whole thing where Ray Fiennes, he's deeply in love with Juliette Lewis. He can't let her go. But, you know, towards when things wrap up, you know, he realizes that there's just sometimes that there are people that you love and there's people who you're in love with, but you just realize you gotta let them go. They ain't no good for you, you know. And instead, there's somebody else who is the right person for you, you know. Which I think that's a nice little deep subtext that's in this film, you know, in that little love triangle. It's just really cool. And I'm just gonna give away a minor spoiler, but you know, the film ends with an interracial kiss between Ray Fiennes and Angela Bassett. And what I love in that scene is that it's a genuine moment. I think it's a very, very tender moment in this kind of strange movie. I thought it was very moving. You know, it's a very moving moment in this film. And what I love is how it's a combination of their friendship and their respect for one another, and then ultimately that they do love each other. You know, they're in love with one another. You know, it's pretty deep stuff in this movie. That little romantic relationship, but that's pretty much all I got to say about Strange Days. It's a fantastic, underrated cult movie that just a lot of people just don't even remember. If there's any one of my viewers who are fans of Angela Bassett, you want to check the film out. James Cameron, Kathryn Bigelow, you want to check about her. Any one of the slew of character actors I mentioned, check Strange Days out. It's a fantastic. Any of my subscribers who haven't seen it, watch the film. Come back and leave some comments on my channel about it down below. Thumbs up. New people, subscribe to the channel. Like the video. And that's all I got to say about Strange Days. Oh, one thing I left out also too is when they show the point of view of when you're seeing other people's memory, really cool stuff, and it's kind of like a heightened version of kind of the John Carpenter, Michael Myers point of view from the original Halloween. It's kind of a heightened version of that. I left that out. But like I said, you guys, do everything I just told you. My next holiday movie review is actually going to be the 1991 Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss classic, What About Bob? That's going to be a fun one to talk about. RMJ Movie Reviews. Leave some comments about Strange Days. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys soon.